Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. When they first came to power back in 2007, the SNP promised to put 1,000 policemen on the beat. They promised to up the numbers. They'd add an extra 1,000 policemen. It's been 16 years, and they haven't done that. In fact, it gets worse. They're looking at 800 staff cuts. So much for, maintaining your promises, keeping your promises. So much for the safety of the people. So much for cutting crime. So much rubbish that is spoken by the SNP. I mean, 1,000 policemen in 16 years. That's 62.5 policemen a year. Check that out, somebody. I think that's right. 62.5 policemen a year. That's just over a policeman a week, isn't it? I mean, and they can't manage that. They can't manage to add one policeman a week in 16 years. What trust do people have in the police when they're so underwhelmed, underfunded, underemployed? It's no wonder so many crimes go unanswered, unpunished, uninvestigated, because there just simply isn't the manpower there to do it. So we're going to take a look at this article, and it's showing why the public is afraid, why there's so many cuts, and why it appears things are going to get far, far worse thanks to the SNP and another one in the litany of broken promises. Here goes. So, the public safety fears over 800 Police Scotland staff cuts. This is 200 staff and 600 officers going to be taken off the beat. They have a commitment, or they had a commitment, to achieve a certain target. They have not achieved that target. They have added some officers, but now they're going to have to cut some of the ones they've got. So it is not looking good. And of course that will mean increasing crime rate. It will mean more and increasingly more unsolved crimes. They'll be targeting the most serious ones, but the less serious ones that can still be change people's lives will basically just go unanswered. The phone will ring and no one will be picking it up. So the SNP has been condemned for making communities less safe by abandoning a pledge over policing numbers, as the forced cuts are expected to see over 800 officers and staff cut by the end of this year. Unions have warned of a Police Scotland crisis as a proposed 3.7% cut in the workforce to deliver a balanced budget within Police Scotland will mean over 200 police staff and over 600 officers are cut. Now, when you do this, you've got to look these people in the face and say, we're getting rid of you. Why? Because you're firing policemen at a time when you absolutely need more of them. And you're saying it's for budget reasons. Perhaps you're spending your money in the wrong places. The first job, and it is the first job of any government, is to protect the people it governs. That is their sole reason for existence. And by reducing the police, they are not doing the very job they were set up to do. By getting rid of them, they may as well not have a Scottish government, because it is failing at its first and priority condition of existence, which is the safety of the people. So why do we have them? Just get rid of them then. You want to save a fortune? I'll save a fortune. Get rid of all the costs that a Scottish government costs the people and pump that money into the NHS and into policing. Anyway, it would wipe out most of the 1,000 more officers recruitment pledge, not achieved, made by the SNP. That was made when the party came to power in 2007. The pledge came as police officer numbers were at 16,234. Budget cuts mean an operating model of 16,600 for this year. However, that means it's only just over 366. So basically they can only recruit another 366 officers to get to the 16,600 that they are demanding. So if your budget is for 16,600, why are you getting rid of 800? Union leaders are further concerned that some 230 of the force's 5,900 police staff could be cut, including fingerprint examiners, forensic examiners, 999 call handlers, custody staff, high-speed driving instructors, cybercrime experts, payroll, human resources and IT staff. All the ancillary stuff that goes outside of the actual investigation, plus some of the scientific investigatory people. So you're diminishing the police numbers, and you're making the functioning of the police much more difficult and limited by resource mismanagement, effectively. The SNP administration entered 2 Holyrood elections with a manifesto commitment to deliver 1,000 extra officers on 2007 levels, and that would prevent the number falling below 17,234. And they're only at the moment 1,000 short of that. They have a commitment to get it up to 16,600, and they're firing 800 to do it, which means they're not only not hitting the 17,234, which they're currently 1,000 shy of, and getting rid of 800, but there's a pledge to get it up to 16,600, but they don't have the money yet. What is going on? Manifesto's pledges come and go, and the pledge to maintain the 1,000 police officers was dropped as a manifesto pledge by Nicola Sturgeon in 2016, because she knew, the odious little dwarf knew, that she couldn't do it because she'd spent the money in other things. Unison leaders have aired their concerns over more than 70 million in budget cuts, which would lead to swinging staff cuts. And the Scottish Police Federation, which represents officers in the ranks of Constable, Sergeant, Inspector and Chief Inspector, has raised concerns to the new Chief Constable, Joe Farrell, that there needs to be more support for the frontline policing. You need these people up there to prevent crimes. You having a Bobby on the beat does a massive thing to reduce, especially low level crime. It does a lot to reduce low level crime by a huge margin, just by having one guy in a uniform patrolling once or twice a day in an area. An SNP pledge to recruit the 1,000 officers was fulfilled in 2011 when the number reached 17,262, which was up 1,029 on the 2007 levels. But over the years and over the failed budgets, that number has dwindled, and it's now 1,000 lower than that. And it is absolutely a joke, isn't it? These people couldn't run a Welkstall. The Scottish Police Authority modelling shows that the 2023 and 2024 budget has an assumption that the overall workforce will be cut by 3.7%, and that means a balanced budget force that would be cut by more than 600 from 17,234, which is the target, which they're not there yet at, to a new operating model of 16,600 this year. They couldn't do it. They're endangering the people. They're encouraging crime by letting people know, hey, we just don't have the police officers anymore. Nobody wants to do it. Nobody's sufficiently high calibre. We know that because we have to fire these people. We're going to have to choose the worst ones. What is going on? Why can't they operate a police service? We know they can't operate a health service. We know they can't operate public health. We know they can't do transport. We know they can't do anything. Can they? Education, that's a joke. These people shouldn't be in power. These people should be in prison. The only trouble is, there isn't a policeman there to arrest them. Anyway, I'll round up and come up. Pledge after pledge is broken. Promise after promise just ignored. You know, they've got no shame. They don't even apologise for breaking their promises. They just break them and move on. It's not as though people matter, is it? Not to them. All that matters to them is that they keep their grubby little hands on the wheels of power. That's all it is. Total control, micromanagement of everything. That's what they like. Must give them the horn. It really does. But they're useless. They are dangerous people. There's hundreds of areas that you could cut spending. Policing and health are the two that must never ever be touched, because it's all to do with people. That is the number one concern. And unless they can learn that lesson, they must never be given power. And the only way they can learn that lesson is for people to show them and vote them out. And let's hope that that is going to happen. It seems to have happened this morning, thankfully. They got voted out there, but North Lanarkshire. But it needs to happen at every election now. They need to lose and lose and lose. And we constantly chip at everything they do, everything they say, every promise they break, and highlight it and talk about it and make them know that they're being watched all the time. Thank you very much. I'm going to stop there. If you like what you see here on the channel, please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, And for God's sake, don't keep voting these people into office. Goodbye.